What is going on, everybody? We are back at your boy Smo, and today we've got another BDSP type video. We're going to be going through, I think personally, the best Pokemon for each type in the Platinum Dex, we'll say. I know that this game coming out has the National Dex, so it goes from 0 to 493, so it's got all Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh, which is fantastic. You love that. Get the underground Pokemon, all those new ones, get the Pal Park, whatever they've called it now. But this one is going to be focusing mainly on the Platinum Dex, so from Turtwig to, I think, like Giratina, Frostlass, whatever, so down there. So it's going to be focusing on the Platinum Dex, going through the best Pokemon for each type. I've tried to make it their primary typing, but a couple have got both and a couple contenders for each one. So let's get straight into it and go through the list of what I think the best is for each type. Not the most diverse, ordinary three typings, I guess. So for Fire, Water, and Grass, there's a couple contenders here and there, but pretty much it's going to be Torterra for Grass, Empoleon for Water, and Infernape for Fire, because no one can contest these three awesome starters. They've all got good typings, they've all got good moves, good stats. I went over their teams in the last couple of videos saying who they could work well with, but pretty much there's only one contender for each type, and they're just outclassed. So for Torterra, there is a contender known as Roserade. Everyone knows who Roserade is. It's a great Pokemon. It's fantastic, got good stats, good special attack, good speed, good special defense. Lackluster because it's a grass type that's weak on neutral to ground, which is not what you want when there's a lot of ground types in this generation, a lot of earthquakes coming at you at all times. So you don't want to have a grass type, which is supposed to be your weak or your resistance to ground, and it's hitting you for neutral damage. You don't want that, especially with a weak defense like Roserade, but still a good Pokemon. The poison type's really cool, learns some nice moves, high special attack, like I said, great moves like Giga Drain and things, Leaf Storm. Toxic Spikes as well is great for long, like Elite Four fights and whatnot, but I think just outclassed by the brute force that Torterra has and that ground resistance. For Empoleon, you could always contest someone like Gyarados, who's also a very good Pokemon, but I try to keep it in the Platinum Pokemon, so mostly Sinnoh Pokemon, but still in the Platinum Dex, there's one contender who could you argue to be better than Empoleon, and that's Floatzel. I know Floatzel's, everyone looks at him and thinks, oh, he's a mid-tier character, but his speed and base attack are really high, and if you're using him for a specific, like, sweeper role or like a fast attacker, then he's doing that better than what Empoleon can do. Because obviously we know Empoleon has base 60 speed, so it's quite slow, but great, well-rounded other stats with a good special attack and special defense. So it's pretty good, but Floatzel, literally, like, low HP, low defense, low special attack, low special defense, high base attack, and high speed. So if you're looking for that type of role, Floatzel is better suited for that. But overall, I think Empoleon is the better Pokemon, especially because of that steel typing. And then I'm assuming everyone's favorite starter is Infernape. You hear a lot of people, actually I see a lot more Torterra starter fans these days, which you love to see because he got a little bit of less love, I'll say, in the original game. But now, so with Infernape, there probably is only one person, because like we've gone over and over and over again, in the Sinnoh region, there is not many fire types. Obviously, if the National Dex is there, we can get all the other starters like Charizard, Typhlosion, and whatnot. I know there's more now than there was in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which there was only 2, and that was one of them being Infernape. But other than Rapidash, who gets at level 42, kind of lackluster, has fire-type moves, not great. The only one that you can contest for Infernape is Magmortar. Decent speed, good special defense, good special attack, good attack. It's a great Pokemon, higher base stats than Infernape, but less coverage. Infernape is a fighting type, he learns more moves, Mach Punch, Close Combat, can learn Grass Knot. Obviously, Magmortar can learn Thunderbolt, which is a great move to have when you're a fire type, weak to water. But I think just the speed alone, and then the option to be a mixed attacker with Infernape more often than Magmortar, and giving him that fighting type move with the close combat and Mach Punch just makes him a little bit better than Magmortar, but it is debatable. I wanted to split these two up because so far, other than Tornadus, that's Gen 5 anyway, so prior to Gen 4, there was not a sole flying type Pokemon. So obviously I have to choose one that is another typing, and I've chosen Staraptor. I think Staraptor is the best flying type Pokemon, utilizes that quick speed, high attacks, that close combat, Brave Bird, uses these strong moves to just sweep through teams really quickly, high recall, pretty much wants to stay in and kill someone really quick, and then get out before they die because it's very frail. If you use 2 close combats to kill something, your defenses are now halved. You're going to die to anything. So pretty much high speed, high attacks, the Raptor just comes in, Brave Bird, close combat. It's fantastic. There are contenders, but I've actually chosen both contenders that could be for the flying type in 2 other typings. So we'll get to them later. For the electric type, I know a lot of people are big electric fans. Electric type is probably my favorite typing, and there's probably 2 that you could choose, but I've chosen Electivire. I know Luxray is also a great pick, and everyone loves Luxray, but I will probably have Luxray in my playthrough. I love this Pokemon, but eventually I'll actually probably trade him out for Electivire unless I get too attached. But Electivire just has higher base stats, higher speed. Attack is very much the same, and so is special attack. So they can both have good attack stats and good moves, good electric moves and whatnot. But I feel like Electivire with that higher speed stat, higher base stat total from the speed increase, and then moves like Cross Chop or Low Sweep, just make him a little bit more of a more diverse, getting rid of those steel types, getting rid of those ice types. Just got a bit more options, and he's a bit faster is a big thing. Higher speed is always a win, so Electivire does take the cake on this one. I'm going to go through these next 3 types together because they kind of all interlock, and it was really hard to choose because I was trying to choose the primary typing for the Pokemon to be of that type. So that makes a lot of sense. Like if you want a steel type, I'm not going to put in Polygon because he's mainly a water type. So I had to change it a little bit and use the secondaries for this one because all 3, each 2 could like swap with each other. So for fighting, I've actually chosen Lucario. I think he's the best one. You could have said Machamp. Machamp's a good Pokemon. Could have also said Toxicroak, which is a good contender. I think he's also good. In one of my team videos, he was actually comparable to Lucario based on who else you chose in your team. But I do think Lucario is the best fighting type. He can be physical with close combat. He can be special with Aura Sphere. He's a great type. He learns a lot of extra coverage moves like Dark Pulse, like Dragon Pulse, like Extreme Speed. Flash Cannon as well. He's got a lot of options to play physical and special. I think just as a fighting type Pokemon, he is the best. Contender for the fighting spot as well as Toxicroak was actually Heracross. I was very tempted to put him down. He's got a nice speed 85, big attack stat, nice Mega Horn, close combat. Obviously, he's mostly Bug. So I actually have chosen him for Bug, but it was hard because there was someone else I actually wanted to choose for a Bug type who I think is better in this game. But I've chosen them for their secondary typing, and that's Scizor for Steel. So Heracross takes the Bug type, Bug Fighting, so he takes the Bug spot, and then Scizor, Bug Steel, taking the Steel spot. Both great Pokemon, both very good, hard to get normally. Normally you need to get the honey on the tree, which is a bit of a pain, but I think both are great. Obviously having a 4 times weakness to flying isn't great from Heracross, but he's got decent speed, he's got good moves, he can learn a rock move to punish those flying types. So as long as he's not coming up against a Staraptor, he's pretty alright. And steel types, there's only one primary steel type other than Dialga. Oh, sorry, I should preface, for this video, I haven't chosen any legendaries or mythicals as the best typing. Otherwise, it'd be Dialga, Palkia, like Heatran, all that jazz. So I've kept it to pretty much just the normal Pokemon, standard Pokemon, and starters, obviously. So Scizor, being a steel bug type, only has one weakness to fire. Obviously, it is 4 times, but in this game, there's only like 4 fire types. So there's not many. So he's great at resisting, great stats, high attack, high defense. He's just a good Pokemon, and I think he does do better. Like Lucario could have been the steel type as well, but obviously I chose him for fighting, so then I could use the Scizor for the steel type. There's only one primary steel type other than Dialga, and that is Bronzong, and I don't think he can compete. I think he's got good stats and good abilities and whatnot, but I think when you're talking about just a Pokemon that everyone thinks about like more, everyone loves more, and a character that I do think is better and more versatile, I would have to say Scizor over Bronzong. Let's get to one of the people I was talking about who could have taken the flying spot from Staraptor, and that is Glyscor, being, I think, the best ground type in this game. Very well could have been any, like, Steelix is a great Pokemon. He's steel ground, has that massive, massive defense, decent moves, very bulky. Could have been Hippowdon, who's also a great Pokemon. High defenses, great stats. Sandstream's beautiful when you're a ground type. He's got good moves, good recovery, Whirlwind is a bit of a pain to verse. He's a great Pokemon, but I think the best is Glyscor. I think having that flying immunity just helps when there's a lot of other ground types in the game. Obviously, he is 4 times weak to ice, but he does have a lot of versatility. He can play a bulky set like a Hippowdon using Toxic and whatnot, but then he can also play an attacking set with Swords Dance and Earthquake. Like, he's got a lot more options, and I think that's what makes a good Pokemon, is how much variety they have in what they can actually do. Hippowdon is pretty much stock standard. Yes, he's got an okay attack stat, but Hippowdon's the bulky ground type on your team. He's healing, he's being a pain to deal with. Glyscor can do the exact same, but then also be an attack sweeper. So I think just on versatility alone, Glyscor takes it over Hippowdon. And the third contestant for the flying type spot is actually Togekiss, and I think I've put them in the normal spot. Obviously, in Gen 4, there's no fairy types, and that's remaining the same in BDSP. So I've actually chosen Togekiss as the normal type because back then, Togekiss was still a normal type. So it's a great Pokemon to have. Serene Grace is amazing ability. I would have chosen him for the flying type. I could switch Togekiss and Staraptor. They're both the same type, so it could work. But Serene Grace, Air Slash, great moves. Return obviously coming back, but not great. There's not really any great normal moves that Togekiss can learn yet, but Extreme Speed, Ancient Power, stuff like that. Flamethrower is great. a lot of good stats as well, but mostly relying on that air slash. So probably could put Togekiss as the fly and then put Staraptor as the normal, but definitely works. The only other contestant I could think of that might beat Togekiss or on par with is Porygon Z. Porygon 2 is great, very bulky. Eviolite is fantastic, but normally not running that in a playthrough. So Porygon Z with the crazy special attack and great move coverage like Tri-Attack, obviously Stab. Then you got Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam. It's a great character, high special attack, high build. Give it Expert Belt, hitting everything for good damage. So definitely is contestable with Togekiss. I'm actually thinking of maybe putting Porygon in the #1 spot for the normal type, but I'll let you guys decide that one. Poison type was actually quite a difficult one to decide because there are a couple of good poison types like Toxicroak or even Skuntank isn't that bad. And then it came down between Crobat and Drapion, and I've actually chosen Drapion to take the lead because Crobat does have higher base stats, but it's pretty much just all in his speed. Base 135 speed is phenomenal. It's so quick, but once you get past 110, there's not much that you're slower than. Like, I know Gengar's 110. I know, obviously, like, some of the legendaries are a bit higher up, but, like, once you get to 130, who aren't you outspeeding? So it's a lot in the one stat, and yes, his attack stat's pretty good, but more bulk, more... still decent speed, base 95 speed for Drapion, good attack, good special attack, good decent bulk. I think overall, even though he's got less base stats, he's more well-rounded than Crobat. And he actually has a much nicer move pool. He can learn things like Night Slash, Cross Poison. Obviously, Crobat can learn Cross Poison as well, and like Leech Life and stuff, but back in Gen 4, Leech Life was terrible. It's like base 20 power, recovers no health. It's horrendous. So, just because on moves alone, we'll say, I think the speed is kind of wasted. He has a good attack stat, yes, and great speed is phenomenal, but when you're that frail in comparison to a Drapion who only has one weakness being ground, I think Drapion does take it because he's more bulky, he learns better moves, and he's got less weaknesses, sorry. And also, if you can get a scope lens with a sniper ability Drapion with Night Slash or Cross Poison, you are critting all the time. Massive damage. It's fantastic build. Definitely try it out if you haven't. This Pokemon was actually another contestant for the fighting type role. There's actually a couple of fighting types in this generation, and this character, I think, is only good with a certain ability. Otherwise, it's very, very lackluster because the base stats aren't high. The attack is, like, mediocre, pretty good. But with the ability Pure Power, it actually doubles the attack stats. So this is Medicam taking the Psychic spot. Very well could have been the fighting spot. But having Huge Power, or Pure Power, sorry, and then with a Psycho Cut, High Jump Kick, great move. Could even do, like, a special build, but probably not. But it's just a nice Pokemon. Get some speed moves like Bullet Punch and whatnot. Get a little bit of priority in there. Fake Out's always good. So a good Pokemon that has some priority and then big damage with Pure Power. Just making great use of the good Psychic and Fighting type moves that have kind of a lot of coverage on a lot of neutral typings, which is fantastic for what you want for an attacker. Rock type was actually another tricky one. I couldn't really decide because there's a couple rock types. I wanted to choose maybe a fossil, and then I was like, oh, Rhyperior is fantastic. Then I was like, wait. He's weak to grass 4 times, he's weak to water 4 times. Get him out of there. So not him. And then I was actually going to choose Bastion. I think Bastion is better than Rampardos just because Rampardos is so slow. His attack stat is phenomenally high. But Bastion has the phenomenally high defense and great special defense. Also quite slow, low attack and special attack. So he's meant to be just a wall. He's a shield. That's what he is. He's the shield Pokemon. But there's actually someone who I think is better than Bastion, and it's Probopass. Very, very similar. Higher special defense than defense. A little bit less than Bastion, but a little bit more speed and more attack for both special and physical. And then a better move pool. So it's only because his stats were slightly better and the move pool is more versatile, especially in a playthrough. Competitive, I still think he probably is better. Obviously, weak to fighting is a pain 4 times. That's why I was tempted to choose someone like Rhyperior or Golem or something. But then they're 4 times weak to grass and water. And that's way, way worse because water is so common. So take a 4 times fighting weakness, run a ghost type on your team. But I think having moves like Zap Cannon or Ancient Power and whatnot on Probopass is just a much better build and more versatility than Bastion. Dark type is a pretty good type. I'm a big fan of the Dark type, and Drapion definitely could have taken this spot. Absol can also take it. It's a very good Pokemon, but I do think the best one is Weavile. Weavile is a phenomenal Pokemon, super fast, high attack. I love this Pokemon. I'll probably be running it on my team, I imagine, if I can find one. Get a Grip Claw nice and early, but it's a great Pokemon, very high attack and speed. Even priority to get past those other prioritized moves with Ice Shard, Icicle Crash, get Night Slash in here, big damage. The only other contestant I could think of is actually Honchkrow. I think Honchkrow is a great Pokemon, a lot of versatility, being a flying type with dark moves. Attack and special attack are quite high, so could run a mixed build or one or the other based on what you got. Great moves, but I think just having that more sole focus on speed and attack for Weavile is a little bit better. Ice type is a great offensive type too compared to flying. Obviously, Brave Bird is hard to get. You need to breed it. And Sky Attack is a 2-turn attack, so it's a bit lackluster on that end, so I think that's why Weavile takes the cake. The other type in that Weavile actually contested for is the Ice type, but I gave Weavile the Dark type and I didn't want to reuse Pokemon, so for the Ice type, I've actually chosen Mamoswine, who very well could have contested for the Ground type spot as well, but I think Mamoswine is a really sick Pokemon. I love Mamoswine, used to play him competitively, as a lead. I think he learned some good moves. Ice Shard's great, Ice Will Crash is fantastic, obviously Ice Fang and Avalanche are also good if you're a bit slow, so more a slow bulky build. Runs thick fat if you can, resistant to fire and ice, which is fantastic when you're weak to fire. Obviously ice is neutral now, so you take even less damage for that, which is great. Once again, weak to fighting, not 4 times like Weavile, but just great stats. Mamoswine's got good base stats, okay speed, good attack stat, great attack stats, sorry. So he's just got a lot of attack, he's just a good Pokemon. I've got 2 for the Ghost type, I couldn't decide which one, so I'll let you guys choose down the bottom. I've got Mismagius and Spiritomb. Both characters are really, really good, very specialized in a certain thing. So Spiritomb has low HP and low speed, but the other stats are all very good, especially the defenses. Both defenses are over base 100 stats. And then Mismagius has got 3, I think base 60, I think it was, 60 HP attack and defense, and then 100, I think, or 110 special attack, special defense, and speed. So great stats in that certain area, but other than that, that's all I've got. So slow Spiritomb, low HP, great defense is more of a wall, tanky build, kind of annoy your opponent, put them to sleep, Dream Eater, maybe Poison or something, and having no weaknesses in Gen 4 is fantastic. But then Mismagius, the fast special attacking, bulky special defense sweeper, is great because Ghost type only has a couple weaknesses to Ghost and Dark, and good moves like Shadow Ball and whatnot. So it's a tough choice, depends on what type of role you want to play, I think. Having 0 weaknesses is a great thing, and Spiritomb actually does have higher base stats, but actually, like, the speed is a big deal in a lot of games. I know people, like, if you're running a tank, they're supposed to be tanky, supposed to be slow, that's the whole point. But speed is a big deal no matter what anyone says. So I'll let you guys decide down below who you think is better between Spiritomb and Mismagius for the Ghost type. And last but not least, this is not a contest at all. There is only one that isn't a legendary for the Dragon typing, and that is Garchomp. Who was surprised? Pseudo-legendary, Dragon Ground type. He could definitely choose the Ground type, but obviously, I was putting him in Dragon, so I'm not going to use him twice. So, Garchomp, easily the best Dragon in this game. Bar Legendaries, I think Dialga is probably the best. But Garchomp is phenomenal. Can't learn Dragon Dance, sadly, which does suck. But Dragon Rush, Outrage, Draco Moody, if you want to run a mix set. Earthquake is phenomenal. Had to learn it quite late. Or TMTG, he learned Sand Tomb, which is really bad. But, like I said, there's no one else to contest. It has a lot of options. Rough Skin's a great ability if you can get the hidden ability. Great all-round stats. Obviously, Pseudo-Legendary being base 600 is phenomenal. So he is by far, or he's the only Dragon type in this gen. Thank you all for watching this idea that I've got on best Pokemon for each typing. So when you go in, if you're like, on my team, I want a Psychic type, I'm going to put in Medicam. Actually, so I didn't contest who would actually be a good Psychic type for Medicam. Would actually be Alakazam or Espeon as well. But I wanted to choose, like I said, Sinnoh Pokemon. But hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. Comment down below what you think about each type. Or if you have any suggestions of what to change, please let me know down in the comments. And as always, take it easy.